Welcome back, everybody. So this week we're going to take a look at a job I did 2 years ago. I'm doing some touch-ups on it, and this is the job that changed my mind about using shellac as a primer. Let's get to it. Alright guys, so I've had a couple people ask me about touch-ups, and I also want to do this video because I've done a lot about the vinyl sealer and the shellac, and this is the job that changed my mind about using shellac, and I'm going to show you why. I've had this job's about 2 years old, and I'll show you the rest of the kitchen in just a second. So one of the reasons why I'm not using the shellac anymore is for this reason. It gets real brittle and tends to chip on corners, and also any place where there's a water issue, a lot of times you get something like this, or like this. Now supposedly the top coat should help it, but if it gets underneath that top coat, especially in an oak situation, the wood is so porous that it's easier for the wood to get in there, and it will cause these sorts of problems, which I haven't seen the vinyl sealer have a problem with yet. So I'm gonna show y'all how I'm gonna fix this. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sand this down as far as I can. I'm gonna put the vinyl sealer over it, and then I'm gonna put 2 real quick coats of the tinted top coat over it. All right, and I'm seeing a little bit over here on this one, so I'm gonna go ahead and fix both of them. Now ideally what I'd like to do is be able to take both of these doors out, but I can't do it, or drawers or false fronts, because the sink is so deep that I can't get in there. Now I know some of you are thinking, well, this was just a bad prep situation, but as you can see here, it's all the way down to bare wood. So I just don't, this is a primer failure, not a top coat failure. So, I'm not sure which came first, the chicken or the egg. Okay, so now I'm gonna shoot my top coat, and then I'm gonna let that set up, and then I'm gonna shoot another coat on it and then walk away. Alright, so I'm gonna let that sit for just a few minutes, and then I'm gonna heat gun it. But the reason I don't want to heat gun this CIC at the beginning is because it will crinkle on you if you get it hot too quick. So I want to let it flash off for about 10-15 minutes, and then I'll come back and I'll hit the final coat, pull the paper, and they'll be as good as new. Alright, so while we're here, I just want to show you the kitchen. And again, this one's 2 years old, and everything pretty much still looks brand new. So I'm not totally saying the shellac is terrible, but I do have found issues in water areas. We had an issue on, I believe it was this door right here. Sometimes you can run into this issue, and it wasn't really the finish's fault or my fault, but these cabinet doors were not glued together. They were just like stapled, and we did this job in the winter, and in the summer this thing will expand, and it cracked the joint right here and cracked a piece of the finish off. And then there's just been a few places here and there. Had some places over here on these drawers that we had some issues similarly on the edges. So one of the things I'll suggest to some of you guys is make sure that you do a good job on anything that has a lip like this or edge, that you get that old finish off down as far as you can and get a good scuff on it, so that you don't have that problem. Now, edges are always an issue, like right in here. And there's just not a whole lot you can do about that. You know, if just normal wear and tears is going to happen, you know, nothing's bulletproof. But I am happy to say that I'm happy with, you know, the overall on this kitchen and the way that it's held up. But you know, I'm always improving and getting better stuff now. And there's the fix, good as new. And hopefully we won't have any more issues with this, but you never know. Sometimes things just don't work out in your favor. So, right on. All right, so my final thoughts on this and what I want to say. I want to say a couple things that I feel like are caveats that I didn't mention in the video. And those are, nobody needs to go and freak out if they've used Ben Shellac Primer as a primer in a refinish situation, okay? I will say that I haven't had any issues in situations where I had a closed-grained structure wood. Like I've done some MDF stuff. I have done some that had, they were maple. And those don't seem to have the water issues. And I think it's that just the porousness of the wood. I can't really prove that. It's just through observation and what I've experienced. The other thing that I will say about the shellac is that it does dry brittle. And it has a tendency to want to chip. This has been confirmed by other finishers, by other people in the industry that have either been in like home paint centers for a while. You know, I've confirmed this information with all of them, and I don't really know if that particular product was ever really designed to be used the way that a lot of us have used it. So there's that. There's those things to, you know, consider. Now I know a lot of you guys can't shoot vinyl sealer and you can't shoot shellac because of insurance purposes or anything, or those kind of things. So what do you do? Well, I don't have a conclusive answer. I will tell you I have never had an issue when I've used one coat of shellac and then used something as a pigment like an exterior latex paint, because that helps with the moisture issues, and then putting clear coats over the top of it. Never had an issue. So I think that's something to consider. In this job in particular, it's probably what saved my bacon with the clients is we did their bathroom, which actually receives more water and has been more beat up than their kitchen, but it still looks perfect. But that was the difference. So that's how I've kind of concluded what I've concluded with some of this stuff. Now, if you can shoot the vinyl sealer, I personally would choose that over the shellac. And I think a really great option is the 275 by CIC. Now, the last job I did, I actually shot the 680 and I shot the 275, and the client was actually home. When we shot the 680, it was pretty bad. And usually, you know, this was a situation where I couldn't completely shut off the entire house because I needed some airflow. And so, you know, some of it wafted around. But when we shot the 275, they couldn't even smell it with the fan setup and how we set it up with, you know, the system. So those are things to consider. So if you're interested in that, I'm leaving Greg Saunders' information below. You can contact him through email, or you can call him and you know, give it a shot. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, and like and subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell notifications if you want to receive a reminder every week, and make sure you check me out on Facebook and Instagram at Eric Reason. We'll catch you next time.